Welcome everyone to the first game of the season. This is the ETF2L Season 32 Week 1 matchup between Se7en and Avant Guingamp. I think I'm just going to call him Avant. Maybe Dom has a better name for him. We'll find out. But we have Wiethoofd on production and, of course, Tom joining me today. How are you doing?
Hi, doing pretty good. Should be fun. First games of the season. We have a second one on the other TFTV stream going right now as well, which is Se7en. So busy day right away for Season 32. And two interesting games. We talked a bit about it beforehand, but obviously Se7en is still pretty much the same old powerhouse we would expect him to be. Now back on the roster as Cadis instead of Domo, who took last season a little bit of a break. But he's as ambitious as ever, basically, so this will be a hard task for the Frenchie's newly assembled all-French roster. Well, almost all-French roster, I should say.
Yeah, there's like a single guy, Sans, in there. I guess I'll just go through the roster real quick so that everyone knows what we're talking about. So we have Sans on Medic, who's Belgian. And then we have Amarok on DmMmTm, which is interesting, right? He was like one of the really good soldiers last season. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how he's going to do on DmMmTm. Then we have Azunas, which I'm going to assume is on Roamer. But then we also have Korvac, who also usually plays Roamer, but he has played Pocket before, so I'm just going to assume that's the case. We'll find out, I guess. Then finally on Scout, we have Neo and Nevo. And of course, we saw Neo yesterday, and he played really well. And he probably is the reason why CJ is not on Prem this season. So he's already done some damage, and he's looking to do even more now against the powerhouse that is Se7en.
Yeah, it won't be an easy task for them at all, but all of them have like some level of experience against this team, and most of them have gotten like at least some success against Se7en before, even if just a little bit. But the precedent has been set for most of them to be able to contest Se7en, get a map of them, or at least points of them in some capacity. So they know they have the ability to do it. It's obviously not going to get any easier as time goes on, but the ability on those players is there for the franchise, and Se7en is basically the final boss as per usual here in Europe. So that right off the bat is a hard task, but the silver lining here is that it is Snake and Sunshine, and Snake specifically is not one of Se7en's strongest maps, so if there's ever a map to do it on, it should be Snakewater.
That's a good point. And I will just say that we really have no idea how good this French team is going to be. Like, just looking at it, it has really good players. And it even has like some up-and-coming players. Like, I don't know too much about Sans. I think he's pretty good. And then, of course, Nevo has been getting better and better. He's kind of like a newerish scout, even in the French scene, I think. But he's been very good, and he's just been getting better and better. And he's one of those people that I think have aspirations to actually become one of the best. But yeah, how well they stack up against Se7en, the champions of this previous season, and just looking like the clear and far away front runner. That's going to be up. That's going to be pretty interesting to see. Their roster is, of course, Raymond on Medic, Starkey on Roamer, Captain on Pocket, Thalas on Scout, and Tiger on Scout as well. And then we have Cadis, who is back on DmMmTm. It's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to do because he did sit out an entire season with some wrist injuries. I'm pretty sure he was fine like halfway through the season, but he just like sat out the entire season just to make sure that everything was fine. Do you think there's going to be some rust on Cadis maybe?
He said himself, I think, in like the TFTV articles interview that he's not too concerned, but obviously you need to like always be like worry about it a little bit. So maybe a bit, but I don't think it will be majorly impactful in worst case scenarios. He has a strong team supporting him, which was enough to get Domo up and going really fast and integrated fairly well as well in a short span of time, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, I think. And speaking of Sans as well, because you got me curious about his history, and it's actually fairly interesting because he started playing in 2012, got one game in season 12 it was, and then hasn't played for 3 years till 2015, and then just consistently every season played in high.
Huh.
Which is interesting to say the least.
Yeah, so he found his levels real fast.
Yeah. And then most of the time he made playoffs too, at least in some capacity. So, experience is still there. Maybe not the highest of high-level experience, but he played a lot, played consistently, and that should definitely help.
Yeah. Also, one thing I really want to talk about is, of course, the French soldier combo, because that is definitely the thing that looks the strongest to me in this roster. It's Azunas and Korvac, and Azunas, he's the kind of guy that will just like fly all over the map and do some really cool stuff. Like, I love watching him on mid fights because he always has some sort of huge bomb where he lands in a really annoying spot for the enemy to deal with. I don't think Snakewater quite has a spot like that where it's like really annoying to deal with, or maybe he's just gonna land on their balcony or something. Like he always has something like that planned, and you can just tell he uses like a lot of forethought whenever he goes in for any kind of bomb. He's not just like I'm gonna go aggressive. No, he knows where he wants to land. This is always really cool to see. And then, of course, Korvac is just a really strong sorter, very strong DM. And whether or not he's on Pocket or Roamer, it's not really going to matter. He's going to do well, and he's going to hit some fat rockets. That's for damn sure. And that even, like, that sort of combo stacks up pretty well against Captain Usagi, in my opinion. Like, it's not that lopsided. It's more in the scout department.
And you also have to keep in mind that Nevo and Azunas have, like, a lot of experience together, like some of the most in the server with like between two players here, I would say, and that on the flank itself is also really, really helpful to just coordinate plays well or just hold stuff really well. So that should just like bring some stability to a fairly new roster otherwise decently well, I would imagine, and it gives us a good idea to just look at these demos, which we already mentioned will probably be like a bit more to question marks in this game, if anything, on both sides.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. I don't know. Have you ever seen Amarok play Demo Man?
I did a little bit, like, preseason, just to see how they do, and the results are there, so they definitely deserved, like, the instant Prem invitation, I would say. Like, that is justified.
Yeah.
He did fine. I don't think... Like, I couldn't really, like, tell anything outstanding from it. He played serviceable, which might sound a little bit harsh, but I couldn't tell anything amazingly good or bad from the play he's done, so... You know, at the bare minimum, that's still decent. That's, you know, the least you want, the demo man that does his job. And yeah. I guess this is where it will get really tested, you know, like a top-level team like Se7en will really make the difference between a decent demo man, you know, like, oh, we can go and prem with this demo man, and one that actually will bring them big results.
Yeah, he could just be like the other Lucas, right? Because Lucas was just this player who had really good DM, who just started playing demo, and he was really good. And Amarok could just be very much the same thing. So definitely something that's worth keeping an eye on. And we talked about a little bit that Se7en is the obvious favorite. I looked at TF2 metrics, and it has Se7en as a 99.9% chance of winning, which is completely absurd. But I thought we would just talk about, maybe we could go over, if we just take a look at the entire bracket and go over what we think our power rankings is before the season goes, right? Because then we can go back at the end of the season and laugh at ourselves for how stupid we were, right? That sounds like fun to me. Are you game?
Sure. Let's see. Well, Se7en for one should be a given in theory. In practice, there could be a lot happening, but, you know, like in theory, that would make the most sense to me. Second is interesting, though. Ascent makes sense. It depends on how well Dr. Phil is like integrated into the team. And that, but I do believe Ascent should be a safe second.
Still
After
agreed.
that, it gets interesting, because Feint and Swift are really closely matched, I think, player skill-wise. Feint do have the edge in terms of like playing together, where Swift might have, for some people, the edge in terms of DM and stuff like that. So I think that would be like the highly contested position there between Feint and Swift, between third and fourth. The Frenchies would be my given for fifth, I think. This team here, so that should be fifth. After that, it gets interesting, because we have the Freerists, Yak's team, and the other French team, Ralph, Olga, and Co.
They're basically all the newcomers, right?
Like, yeah, the newcomers, basically. That should be the most interesting, because the Freerists and Yak's team I've seen like play a few times. They've been trading maps back and forth, like all over the place, and we've seen the Frenchies. They that might be the weakest team in theory. In practice, though, they got the ability to just like really deny people, like we've seen before in the game yesterday, that they can just shut down a team decently well and not let them play their game as the way they want to. And against teams like the Furious and Yak's team that want to play aggressive, that could be a decent matchup.
Yeah, so I would say Void Crever is going to be the lowest team. I think they're going to struggle to get. They're going to get like 3 points in the entire season, and then we have like Toadstock and Toes and Theorists. I'm going to go with the Theorists are going to be... No, Toad's going to be the second to last. They're going to be 7th, and then the Theorists is going to be 6th. And then, yeah, the Avant team here that we're watching, they're going to be number 5.
I would say that Avant has like the chance to upset Feint or Swift on a really good day, and depending on how keen they are. Like if there's any upsets in terms of actual like end placements for playoff spots, I would imagine that they have the ability to. And today would be a decent start. Like getting any amount of points of 7 is something that some of the other like not top 2 teams basically could just dream of, and that would be a good head start into the season right away.
Yeah, we see that very often actually. That's one of the big favorites will just kind of slack off or not be as prepared coming into the seasons, and it just takes them a couple of games to really warm up and get into their groove. Like we saw Ascent last season, who I think everyone was just like really sure we're going to be like an absolute monster of a team, and they also ended up being that. But in the beginning of the season, they were kind of sketchy, you know. So it could very much be the same thing with 7. 7 is more of an established team. Like they were together all of last season, and they played with Cadus before. But we are actually going live here. So ETF2L season 32, week 1 matchup, 7 versus Avant to Guingamp, and this is going to be the week 1. It's all fresh out of the gate here. Who's going to come out on top? I can't wait to find out.
Right, let's see what they got for the mid fight here. Cadus and Amarok arrive to the mid, throw 6 over, try to just deny people. Flash takes a bit of a hit, not too much. Soldier going in, Captain just wants to get behind, annoy them. Stark in for a bit of more direct approach. Tiger and him go down really quickly though, just get denied on an attempt to cross over the point. Captain still behind, they need to watch out for that. Tries to get onto the medic but can't do much. Korvac in the meantime just going forward across the point, denies people of contesting anything there at all. Will go down, but it is still a big success for them, and Azunis gets one bonus kill on Flash just at the end of that.
Yeah, they were trying to be cheeky there. 7, they should have logically retreated, but they were kind of like hanging around, see if they can make any kind of play, maybe catch someone running forward, but as it was actually the other way around. Flash going down. Tiger's going to go in super aggressively onto this soldier as soon as going down, and eventually he's going to have it cleaned up. Why is Tiger's name looking that weird? Anyway, it will actually be a nice stop here from 7. They're just holding on their own second, so they have stabilized, and there's one player down for both teams. Tiger could go sniper. I suppose Azunis could as well. I haven't seen Azunis ever go sniper, but yeah, we're just looking forward to it, and it looks like Korvac is the pocket as well. I didn't quite look at that and roll out.
With snipers, the caliber of Neo and Navo, it's going to be surprising if anybody else will pick up the sniper rifle here. So you think it's one of them, and if one of them just feeds in here, you just know as the other team that there will be a sniper soon
yeah,
afterwards.
That's a tell. That's for sure. And I will just point out that this is a situation where we saw Korvac actually drop Raymond last season in the finals, maybe even as well, right? Like, no, not in the finals, but in the playoffs. Here comes Korvac.
He tries again.
Same exact thing, and he does a ton of damage, but he does not get the medic. There was just a team of players just throwing their bodies in front of the medic. Just get down, Mr. President. And now it's going to be 7 trying to come in here. Nice little jump in from Starkey, however, he gets body blocked as well. So both teams trying to go for the bomb in onto the medic, just sending in the single soldier, and both of them just get completely bodied and denied. So, yeah. Let's see if Korvac decides to go for any kind of banner play. As soon as it's actually on conch, so that's what he was doing. So this is not the best place to really spam ever. It can be very difficult, especially if you go in through grass area. But as soon as he's actually been doing some amount of damage, just spamming in from Snake Water, it's already on 50%.
Yeah, it is like the fastest banner to build out of the 3, like by a decent bit. So it will take less time, but they do need to find the angle of approach for him. So attempt on grass it is to just try to get people in position for Zuns to find some damage, maybe create some chaos, or just make space for like a Korvac sack in the midst of this chaos. But so far, not too much is happening. If there's just some more damage being exchanged, bit of pressure on grass, nothing really comes of it in the end. Neither team picked up the sniper rifle yet. So the stalemate will continue, and we're probably gonna wait for the Frenchies to find an idea how to use Azunis' conch here.
Yeah, it's almost built. Like, he did some really nice amount of damage. Yeah, he just needs like a single rocket or so, and he will have it done. And, you know, it really is nice that they have this 1-2 punch, basically, right? So they're trying to get Azunis forward so he can build the conch. Oh, he's in 2 HP! Oh, he gets saved just barely. That was extremely close. And what I was trying to say, okay, Sansax is just going to Uber in here. They might just go for the Uber exchange. They do get stocky, so that's going to mean that they're one person up. They still haven't forced Raymond, though, and they don't even get the force at all. And now it's just going to be cleanup time for 7. They have this full Uber advantage, and, you know, as soon as might just have to use this conch to just run it out. Oh, he doesn't have it yet. That's sad. He's actually out of rocket as well. So, okay, he does have it now. Maybe he's going to try and see if he can use it to actually get them in here. But I think they're just going to try to maybe stall it out here and see if they can have even Ubers and a conch.
Yeah, for the play they tried to do with the exchange, they wanted to approach it way too passively and didn't want to commit anybody in. They wanted to keep 6 players alive, and it costed them much more than any lives, which is the point in the end here. Mid gone. Conch has been popped for the force now instead of any other play, and they go in deep. They do find good damage, but
Raymond's on 25!
All across the second point.
Raymond just surfs away. There's like a sniper in spawn who was on 5 HP, just desperately looking for the body shot that would have killed him. But Raymond just holds on to the supers, and so far he is just absolutely nerves of steel, just holds on to it, and they're getting ready to go in here. They're actually putting time onto the point, so much time onto the point, and they get the Uber Force out, and Raymond still hasn't popped it. Like, he's held onto it for so long. And it's going to be pretty difficult now because there are a lot of players down, and here comes the pressure, and Korvac's going to jump in very aggressively, and here comes the Uber Force out. Not the best Uber in the world for 7, but they can definitely get some kills here, and there's even a back cap going on from Nebo.
And they need to be careful on both ends. The cap is really important, and the Frenchies are just a bit too deep into second right now. Spawn's coming out too. They might overstay their welcome, losing 4 players already. It was looking so good with the fourth, but they wanted too much out of it. Suddenly it's only the Matt and Demo alive, and they're getting chased all the way to last, and that is a full wipe for 7.
Yeah, the respawn wave, they're coming in clutch. The Frenchies, they were definitely winning that fight, but then the spawners came in from 7 just in the nick of time. It just really goes to show how good 7 are at just playing these minor advantages and just really getting the best out of every situation. Because that was a pretty close fight, but just overall, just absolutely amazing play from Raymond, just holding onto that Uber for so long. Just really incredible here. Both DmMmTm not really finding a whole lot of damage here and immediately putting too much pressure on the other one. We're going to see one soldier that's stocky. He's going to jump behind, and he has been found out by Korvac. He's just going to take a 1v1 there, and they're going to trade. Classic roamer trade. And Thalas is actually in super deep. Gets piped. He took like 143 damage there and somehow didn't die, so he's still behind, and everyone else has just been pushed back from the Frenchies while 7 just move forward.
The Stark though, he doesn't have an Uber to use, so we'll just go down, gunned down by the scouts. Cadis gets Nevo, just for good measure, and that is the end of the mid-fight. They really wanted to have players behind as much as they could. Even after the first one died, I think it was Stark all the way in show. They just kept sending people in behind lines to just like really make them uncomfortable, corner them somewhere on their part of the mid, and just put them in this really tight spot where they just can't go anywhere. And eventually they got the pincer just enough to get all these killed really quickly. Sans got stuck as well, which made matters all the worse. Full ad now for 7 at the last, and this is gonna be scary now.
Yeah, 7, they were a little bit slow there to cap second, but it's not going to be a big deal. I think the last going to be like slightly delayed. Oh, no, he's there in time. He will be able to be part of this push. There's a pyro at the door, actually. That's pretty nice. You don't normally see a pyro on Snakewater, but he just gets taken down immediately. They do see a lot of bouncing around. Captain finds a spot that I didn't know exists up on the wall. The last putting time on the point, though, he's going to go down eventually. It's actually not going too hot for 7, but they're still just fighting it out. They have so much time on the point, so at any time they can just pressure it out. Actually, Captain, no, that's Stock, going to come onto the point. It's just going to be Amarok on the point here. It's a 2-on-2. It's a medic and a scout, but scouts are overpowered, right? But here comes some respawners as well. Raymond's actually on the point. If he can get this, there's so much time on it. No, just barely not able to get it. And a really strong hold there from Avant.
Yeah, the 7 just really wanted these kills down, in the second half after the U was a bit too badly. Jumped in really deep on the point, but lost all of those players, even if they got their kills out of it. And they just didn't have enough players alive for the end fight there, and the spawners decided that Korvac going deep early will deal some damage, but not find any success for it. And the way Snake is, the way we just saw what can happen here, if you just miscalculate a bit into second, the Frenchies are not going to take much more of a risk here trying to get out of last. They kind of just have to settle with last for a little bit longer and deal with an even Uber stalemate yet again.
Indeed. 7 looks like they might just want to go in here, but Kate is going down to a sticky trap. That's definitely going to cause them to just back off here. And now there won't be no sticky trap, so it's going to be pretty easy for Soldiers to try and see if he can find his way out. Korvac, he tries to go in through cheese, but he has been called, and he will not even be able to make it out alive. And as soon as he's going to get out of there as well. So I really like the amount of pressure that's being put on, right? It kind of looks like, oh, he just threw away his life, but he was trying to make a play, and they did have a respawn to give there, so it makes a lot of sense. So I think both teams are playing really well right now. It's just like Se7en, they're just absorbing all this pressure extremely well, like basically almost only they can. And Se7en, once again, they're just going to see if they can put some pressure onto the left side of the point, and they do actually get the sentry gun down, so that's kind of nice. And they'll just continue to send in players here. It's going to be a sorter this time around, but it goes down. Nice rocket there from as soon as might even get Captain as well.
Yeah, Neville sniped as well, dealt some like previous damage to the players there, and as soon as just instantly there to clean up of the 2 soldiers down. Again, it's tough to get out of this one, but they again just try to rely on Corbeck's DM to make stuff happen here while just taking lobby, making Se7en a little bit uncomfortable, and try to open things up. I do believe Stark noticed Corbeck going behind now, so he has been spotted, and Neville going down as well on the sniper. Makes life so much harder. Corbeck comes in one play, but they spotted him! And he takes so much damage, but er will go down. And with Neville down already, this is a lot of space Se7en could potentially take here.
Definitely 2 players down. We saw Se7en actually go for the left push so many times when it was even players, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised they haven't gone in already. They've been kind of slow. They wandered over to the other side, but they're just going to send in the soldier instead. Oh my god! K just takes down Sense. That spam, that coordination, that was really great.
But Raven
Raven goes down to Neighbor. This is huge. It's the last though, still in onto the point. Se7en, they still get it, but everyone just going absolutely huge there. Holy hell.
Yeah, everybody tried to save the situation on like both ends so hard. In the end, Se7en just in too quickly for the Raymond drop to matter already. They got in already, didn't need to use to get the space to begin with, and that's eventually what made the difference here. 2-0 for Se7en now.
Did Cadis actually, like, was it a sticky trap or was it just sticky spam? Alright, so he actually managed to build up a trap. Oh,
yeah, well, the jump came in, so Sans was kind of stuck between the jump and the sticky trap.
Star's gonna jump behind lines, but Zoon is just gonna go straight in onto the medic. No clever stuff there, just straight in the face, gets 2 kills. Nice job by him. It's gonna be a 3-on-3, but the Freddies, they have heals, but it doesn't matter if you have heals. Everyone just does infinite damage. Sans is so weak, he's gonna get taken down, and there we go. The scouts clean up. 4K from the last. They're really coming in clutch there because they needed that.
Yeah, everybody again just going deep and even doing what needed to be done at the end of that, and as it stands, Raymond died so early that Sans will have a big boy disadvantage at the end of that.
Double soldier bomb's gonna come in here onto Captain. Captain actually makes it alive, just barely manages to dodge a sticky. And, you know, this is Captain we're talking about. He is the player of the season last season, and he's showing why, just refusing to die in situations where you'd think he should just absolutely not survive. But Cadis actually going to go into grass here, going to put on a ton of damage, has cleared the roof, there's a scout up on it now, and I wonder if this is just a big ploy here to get everything in. No, Captain's actually just going to go for the demo man, pops him into the Amarok, so weak, still not dead, but there we go, finally the deaths come in, Corbeck jumps in onto the medic, cannot get Raymond either, Raymond just holds on to it. Raymond so far has just been absolutely excellent at milking it, and that's going to be a second win for Se7en. They're going to go into last as well, just popping it in there, putting time onto the point immediately. This scout eventually just going to sit on it and cap it. Neva tries to block it, but not going to be enough, and that's going to be 3-0 for Se7en. What a just demonstration of force right now.
Yeah, they just dealt some nice little entry damage coming in on grass, and the moment they saw that the demo was disconnected from the rest of the team, the plan was clear. They just jumped the demo, got a favorable beginning to that fight, and just stormed it all the way to last from there. Really, really well done. Corbeck not able to get the force obviously makes life so much easier for Se7en here, and gives them the 3-0 now.
Indeed. Cadis does get some pretty nice spam coming in here, but Corbeck's in again, very clear that as soon as actually going to get the medic once again, so the double soldier bomb is definitely doing some work. And now Avant, they are just going to have to just pool around their medic right now, and yeah, there you go. They get down the first scout. Tiger's going to come in as well, he gets piped. The soldier's in on them as well, though. Captain comes in, but he will only find Amarok, and Kate is going to be the only one alive. He's going to go all the way back to last. He is fine, and that was a really nice mid-win there for Avant.
Yeah, so far it just seems to be whoever gets the soldier bomb in first will get this will get the mid-win here at the end. So this time, as soon as Corbeck have found success, got Raymond incredibly early, everybody else sponged up around Sans, protected him really well, and will get them the mid-win here. Tiger sniping already though, wants to pick them off, entering into second, but on the French end here you don't want to use, which makes it even more scary.
So far they have kind of denied Tiger's angle. Like the spam on him is pretty good, and he will just take up one shot before just backing off. So good job there. Avant, they're going to go in through bottom right. They have about 25% Uber advantage to work with here before it's going to come in from Raymond. There's a sentry gun that's been taken down, and time on the point as well. So much time onto it, in fact, but people are just not really being cleaned up as they dive the point desperately there, and it might be a little bit too late. Okay, Sorta tries to come in there at the very end. I think Amarok is just safely out of there, yeah. So just barely not able to get it, but that was very close. Look at the time on that last point.
Yeah, it was a close call for Se7en to make it, but in the end the damage, like you said, wasn't quite there. People were weak, but just nobody died on the point for Se7en. Will save them the day here just barely. Never Sniping has a different opinion. Let's see if he can change anything about the situation on mid here.
The classic shutter door play, just waiting for them to run in there. Se7en, of course, they didn't have to use the Uber because they didn't have it, and so they're just going to have to run that med again. You see Raymond, he's very nervous. He's not walking in there just yet, but here we go. The door has been opened, and the sniper has been called as well. He just got a body shot onto Captain, and they've actually lost a lot of players. So Se7en not really going to be able to push very effectively. Once you have an Uber advantage but not enough players, you can't really use that Uber to do a whole lot of damage, and so Se7en will actually have to back off. So a really good mid-hold there coming out from Avant will cause this game to just stalemate down a little bit, which is a lot better than losing middle.
Yeah, this is a situation that Se7en does themselves a lot of times with a sniper and forward to hold on to mid on disadvantage like this, and the Frenchies being able to do it just fine as well is really, really important. And the fact that Se7en is so scared of it themselves just shows how much respect they have into their own strategies, it seems, and it forces the stalemate. Like you said, Tiger also picking up sniper rifle himself is their means of dealing with this stalemate for now, which means sniper fight for a little bit.
Big sniper fight. Who will get the first pick there? I think Nemo just shot, so they definitely know that he's around. And Amarok actually just went down. He will trade with Captain. That's a trade that Se7en will want to take all day. And that could probably just create some more space for Tiger, but he's actually backed off really passively. I don't know if Avant knows about the Tiger sniper just yet. I don't know if he's really shot anything. I'm not quite sure. Korbak actually almost catches out Cadus there. Not quite going to be able to get him. And Tiger's just sniping super passively. So Nevo's just going to see if he can line something up. At some point, some sniper has to make some kind of move, you know? Like, you can't get a snipe onto anything important without exposing yourself at least a little bit. Yeah,
and given the game state we have, you 3-0 for Se7en, and the Frenchies on mid, it's the Frenchies that they have to make a move, otherwise they lose the mid point potentially off of the back of a reset mid fight, and they lose a lot of time here if they are not doing anything, so it's all up to them right now. Se7en content with stalemates, we all know that. So Korbak is the one wanting to make a play. Stark actually denies the Zunis instead of Korbak there on window, just doesn't want the second jump to happen in the first place. And it works out in that sense, nothing happens, so Se7en holding onto this defense for now. Tiger actually went a bit more aggressive in the meantime here, but still not too much to actually risk his life a whole lot, just still on the second point here as the jump from Korbak comes in, catches Raymond with so much damage.
Oh my god. How does he do this every time? Just jumps in and drops Raymond from this exact same angle. That's crazy how he can just consistently do that. So now Avant, they're going to definitely be looking forward to pushing in here, but they are pushing into a sniper. It's very uncomfortable. You see Sanchez just hiding in a corner right now, waiting for the soldiers to jump forward. They have done just that. So really nice methodical play right now coming in here from Avant. Just moving forward, and looks like they're actually even just going to continue to go bottom here. Really well played so far. I'm actually really impressed with how the Frenchies are playing this, even though they're down 3-0.
Yeah, this is not a 99.9% chance of losing here, if I would say so myself. They're doing just fine, and they've gotten close before, but it's not quite enough until now. But Uber push into last yet again. Point gets played, Uber in deep, but the
Scout on point,
taken down so quickly.
Man, it really, like, they're really good at putting time onto the point and then forcing Se7en to dive it. But then once Se7en dive the point, they have like 3 players on it, and then they don't just explode, you know? Like, that's what you're supposed to happen. When you bait them onto the point, and then they just all explode to people just being able to shoot onto the point and doing a million damage and splash damage. But that last bit is just not happening. So they're like one slight little percentage point away from actually getting this. And Se7en, they're going to move in here. Korbak's doing a ton of damage. Raymond goes down really low. And just that amount of damage is actually going to take a while for Se7en to heal up again. But they will make it in onto second, or into middle, sorry, pretty safely. And they will take it over. And it's going to be just a matter of where Se7en wants to push on here.
Yeah, it's really, really scary now, because they don't have a sniper. They can't just sit back and they have the magic cap around them. Neo does it just himself without a sniper rifle, it seems. Gets Cadus, that's a start, but Raymond still has this Uber here, which makes the contention just all the more impossible, and sooner or later they have to give in. Will fall back to last year, and they just didn't get this force that they desperately needed.
Raymond, of course, he still has an Uber advantage, but losing Cadus is really problematic, because the best way to do an Uber advantage push is to Uber in, put people onto the point, and then this DmMMTm stickies it, and they just have to dive the point. And they can't do anything about the demo because he's shiny and invincible, and then they just lose. But when you don't have the DmMMTm, things get a little bit more complicated, because you actually have to just kill everyone before you can actually capture the point. And Thalas says in chat, I'm sniping, which is funny because he's sniping. So he's confident, I guess. Just he believes it doesn't matter if they know about him. So he's going to go in here. He's on the barrel right now. So if you can find an angle, doesn't find it. The soldier's there to spam him off, but they do manage to do a lot of damage to that soldier. So maybe it's going to be a round 2 of Thalas trying to go in there. Tiger's actually going to be the one to go down immediately here, trying to buy space. And Thalas is sniping from the lower, and so far he's not able to find anyone. So he's going to have to just back off.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Frenchies went really aggressive on the right side there while the sniper was lower. It's like they actively wanted to contest Se7en somewhere, but not in the sniper side line. Just let him have his fun down there. As long as he can't see anyone, it's fine. We just fight somewhere. I'll take the right side fight, get one pick, which is nice, but unfortunately, as we all know by now, it's not quite enough to just get a good entry into second here. So it will continue going this way of a stalemate on lobby to last here. Flash still on sniper, peeks in again. There's just nothing on the right side here. The Frenchies all went into the wide open door instead of shutter.
He did see Korvac there for a short moment, but Korvac saw him as well, so he will just spam me out a little bit, and then that will pretty much force the last to rotate.
Tiger just spawned in here as everybody walks away from the right side door. Everybody checked out shutter. At the same time, Tiger just gets this force for completely free, and this Uber won't be able to catch anything at all.
Really huge play there. He just walked in, and that's really a mistake you can't allow yourself to happen against you, where the scout just runs into the face of the medic, because the medic is holding really close, but it's not like the scout can just turn the corner. He has to like get over an obstacle or go all the way around it, and yeah, it's a bit embarrassing, but nice play there from Tiger. It really just goes to show when Se7en they put on pressure. There's in there. Oh, this soldier's in the skybox. As soon as he will dodge the air shot there, but Se7en they are in and they have Ubered. Not the best Uber in the world, but Korvac is actually on Pyro trying to just hide around, but he will get taken down. Zed is still dodging really well. Actually, an air shot from Captain's going to take down Amarok, and that's going to be the beginning of the end for Avant. They're going to go down 4-0. Really strong push coming in here from Se7en. Even with the Ubers not being the greatest, the DM is just too strong. That's going to be 4-0.
Yeah, as long as they did something with the invincibility, that's all that matters here. Where the Frenchies just get to the point and get some damage across, and then the soldiers in deep without Uber at all. Like the soldiers just go in and like not invincible. Se7en uses the invincibility a lot more effectively in comparison, and it makes such a big difference.
Kate is going to bump his head a little bit there. Going to be slightly slower than normal, but it's not a big deal. Snakewater is not exactly a mid with a big choke that you can lock down. But Captain's going to take the high ground really quickly here, and Amarok's just kind of hanging out. Everyone is just being super passive. Nobody wants to really commit. We do see Stark finally is going to jump in. Actually gets enabled with 2 nice rockets and then trades with the other soldier. That's going to create a lot of space for everyone else from Se7en to just move forward here. And looks like they have done just that. Everyone else is not going to be able to stand up to it. And that's going to be another middle for Se7en.
It was really interesting that they went right side while all of the Frenchies were on the left. They, instead of just desperately chasing these kills, trying to get people in deep and risking themselves to die as well, they just kind of wanted to take like all other space than the bit before saw effectively, to just force them to leave, not have any space at all. So Se7en not too hard pressed for the kills right now, and with the 4-0 lead on 7 minutes, they don't need to wipe them on bit anymore. It's really nice to see them like respect that situation and just go for what's probably the safest thing.
Yeah, Frenchie's gonna French. They've gone for the spy, and he's gonna see the sniper. He can definitely get the sniper with an easy pick, but he probably has bigger aspirations than that. He wants that medic pick. Right here he comes up onto the medic, and there we go. Picks him off, and then he even takes down the DmMMTm. Wow.
That counts an airshot in my book, even if it's hit scan. And
Sure.
then gets like sniped out of the as well. That was like a beautiful sequence of
Pushing
events.
Tiger's on last though. I think he's just in scot-free. Oh, what a tragedy. They did everything right there, but they just didn't watch last, and Tiger just runs in there. Caps last uncontested, 5-0 for Se7en in about 25 minutes. And, you know, it's kind of what we could have feared would happen, but it's not as bad as the scoreline makes it out to be. I don't know if you have any other takes on that.
There's 5-0s and then there's 5-0s. There's games where just like, and we've seen many of those before, even with Se7en, where one team just completely dominates and the other team basically is just playing spectator for Se7en to just get the 6 points over and done with. And then we have games like this where the Frenchies did have their moments. They pushed last like 2-3 times, unsuccessfully still, but they got that close at least. They won mids. They held on to points every once in a while when Se7en had ad as well. They forced them to actually play well and not just like play on autopilot as much as in some other instances, which is nice. But in the end, Se7en clearly deserved this win. They hands down were the better team, and despite all the fight the Frenchies did put up, Se7en found an answer to all of that.
Yeah, just I would say, you know, I think I put Avant here at number 5 for the season overall, right? And like, I'm already rethinking that because I actually think they look pretty good. It's just Se7en is on another level right now. But, you know, maybe that's going to change with the map. Maps can be kind of different. I think this is a pretty soldier-dominant team where, like, that's really the players that they rely on to make big plays happen. And they did. Like, you see it on middles, especially. But going into Sunshine is going to be maybe a little bit better for soldiers. Snake is pretty notoriously for not being that great for a soldier map. It's very easy for Scout to just shut you down, except for in the middle. But I mean, Sunshine isn't the greatest map in that regard either. But yeah, let's look at some logs, shall we? We can see Captain, top damaging, doesn't die a whole lot. Just what we expect. 8 air shots. Same thing for students, actually.
The one thing I like here is, like, personally, as a DmMmTm, is Cadus died 6 times as much as Raymond. That's so little. That makes me happy. I like when demos don't die. I don't really I mean, I do care about the damage, obviously, but I do think that not dying is more important. Because as demo, you can do so much without dealing any damage just by sticking off areas, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think people often overlook the biggest factor in doing more damage is not being dead. It kind of sounds silly, right? But just being alive will cause you to do more damage overall. And always, as a demo man, you're also zoning really hard. And it's like, if they're pushing in and you're alive, they're just going to be slower because they have to check for sticky traps. Otherwise, they can get punished. So staying alive as demo man is probably the most important thing you can ever do.
I also want to point out, and it completely doesn't mean anything, but Zunis dealt 589 damage in 35 seconds of Spy. I am bad at math, so I don't know how much DPM that would be translated to, but that would be theoretically ridiculous.
Are you saying he should just be playing Spy 100% of the time because his DPM is so much better, right? It's over 1,000 DPM, right?
Clearly, that's how the math works out here, and it doesn't become predictable after like the second time.
I don't think that's how TF2 works. I think you just go with whatever you have the highest DPM on. Right? It's kind of like when you sit in spawn and you headshot someone for like 300 damage, and then you switch away from sniper, and then you'll have like a DPM of 2,000 on sniper because you played it for 10 seconds. You should have just played it the entire map.
Clearly, that's how it usually goes, you know. But yeah, it's just like a really funny little side note to this game here. What else is there to say? Let's look at the medic stats. It's usually pretty interesting.
Yeah, Raymond actually died quite a bit. It was especially on middles where he was just getting crushed immediately, right? Like the double soldier bomb was just relentless. He could not hide anywhere. So in general, he was good at staying alive, like especially in the beginning where we saw him just never pop his super until it was just right. Like that was really impressive, and he obviously stayed alive for that whole thing. But then he did get picked by a spy. He did get bombed on middles, right? So he definitely did die quite a bit more than you would expect. Normally when it's a 5-0, you see one medic with like 2 deaths and the other one with 15 or something retarded, right? No, not this time around. It's actually pretty even.
We do have 3 drops on him though, which is, you know, a 50% rate if you look at it that way.
That's true.
But
yeah, like Korvac dropped him with a rocket. I mean, I suppose he should have seen that coming since it has literally happened last season in a very similar situation. But maybe he's like, nah, I've gotten better, or there's no way he can do that again. But no, he can do that again. So maybe next time, pop it in that situation.
But all that praise to Raymond also has to be said that Sans did pretty well as well. And maybe not quite as impressive, and it's hard in comparison to do that, but he did survive a lot of situations where he had to do a lot himself in terms of dodging and stuff like that. So praise where praise is due. He also did pretty well there. And that should be interesting in comparison. What I do mention is that, while I wouldn't say that Amarok did bad at all, I do think he was a bit of an issue on last pushes. I think more so than some of the other things that went wrong. I feel like he needed to have a bit more presence on last to just be able to like get people to where they want them to be, just get the damage in, like go deep himself or something, whatever is required. It always felt like either they didn't play the point when they needed to, even if they got a lot of time, or they just didn't go deep enough with the Uber itself. And that's where the last pushes just went wrong.
Yeah, they had some really good last pushes. It was just like that final, everyone jumps the point and then they explode part that went wrong. And like that could definitely be Amarok's fault. Maybe he just ran out of stickies, or he didn't realize that was the exact play. Or maybe it's just that his teammates all died, so it was too late at that point. You can't just immediately call him out, say it was just his fault, but it's definitely a possibility that he did a mistake there. Now, it's worth keeping an eye on. I think Sunshine is generally a little bit more difficult to push last on against a really good team, so it is possible that we might see like a 4-1 or like a 4-0 or 3-0, something like that, right? So it could be slowed down. I think in general, when things have slowed down, it's actually been surprisingly good for Avant. Like they haven't been outclassed. We saw the spy play work, we saw the soldier bomb in work, and it's just been these very small details that cost us Se7en to just come out ahead, and they have also done well in these stalemates. So the stalemates actually have been a pretty even affair as we do go live here. Se7en, they have already secured themselves 3 points on the first map, and they're looking to secure themselves 3 more here as we go into the first middle.
Yeah, Sunshine is an interesting match. Both teams kind of like this from what I have heard, so this should be an interesting matchup. Amarok quite a bit slower to mid, doesn't get any damage by Cadis going faster though, so it's not much of an issue. But Captain has
to jump in super fast, just so quickly there, and he somehow didn't die very early on. There we go. Finally, Tiger has the high ground though. He's just gonna be finding Korvac in the lower ground, but now Korvac has been called out. There we go. He's finally gonna go down. Se7en, they have all the ground they want, and they take middle.
Yeah, that was a nice example of, like, they ended up trading numbers with those bombs, but they had, like, the demanding position here, Se7en. They like, dictated what happened for that mid fight. They went in really deep, got people stuck close to choke, and just were able to take space over to the right side of their Tetris, and then from there on forward, after those bombs have been established and the demo went down. So, on paper, 2 down on each team is still doable, but the way Se7en did it there, they just took all the space they wanted to. They got the demo kill and just did what they wanted.
I'm interested to see what Se7en's going to do here to break this stalemate, because this is a pretty difficult place to actually make it in. We see Captain tries to see if he can jump in sneakily there. He's getting just completely spammed out by Korvac. Korvac's not going to let that happen. And yeah, if that's going to be a sniper, that's going to be it. And there we go. He has revealed himself, and he gets a nice pick onto a scout. It's going to make it a lot easier for him to get in here. And we have seen Se7en just snowball these things out of control for last, being so aggressive there, just peeking in, but he eventually gets spammed out.
Yeah, and Korvac goes down here as well to spam. Tiger just advised himself to last yet again. Sentry not in position to deny him. The Amarok pipe will hit the mark eventually, but the Sentry is down immediately after 2-4-1. Even Uber still, Cadis just walks in here, forces the Uber exchange, but Raymond drops his demo man. Has to get out of life here, but so far this looks like it might just happen.
The pressure on Se7en is just so crazy to deal with. Like they just literally walked in and just forced everyone back just with really precise spam, and they just eventually just make it out of there. And yeah, like Raymond, he was not even in danger. He just he didn't have to even try to get out of there. Now Falasa is sniping up top here, but really he's not going to overextend. He wants to just take it very easy. Cadis is very low though, so I think they're just kind of waiting. But Nevo actually comes in, and Se7en, they're just in so deep. They actually went in before the medic, but eventually Raymond will catch up and save people. This Pyro is going to do his best to deny everyone, but he just gets focused down really quickly there by Captain and Tiger. Point is still sticky though. Se7en, they're just going to have to go for the kill plan, and yeah, that's going to work out just fine for them. They're all alive at the end of that. Perfect push from Se7en. That's going to be 1-0.
Yeah, like you said, the play into last initially to get the Ewa used on the other side was just so well done. There's so much pressure at the same time. There were so many people to last, and in the end, I think Cadis might have been the only one that died for that. And that just goes to show that the moment you give Se7en an opening, they are ready to take it all the way.
Yeah, and the only reason Cadis really died was because he got like nuked, basically. He took like 170 damage in like a millisecond. But the captain's going to go up onto the high ground. He will actually jump past it, and Korbek's going to be able to take the bell tower for now. He has eventually jumped in, and there's all the sorters in the skybox. Stark is actually on this really demanding position on the enemy side, and he has not really been dealt with either, so the positioning is definitely in favor of Se7en as soon as it was in behind, but he gets taken down before he can do anything, and that's going to cause a full retreat coming out, and actually Stark's going to take down his demo man as he tries to retreat. There we go, and it's just going to be Sans and Neo alive.
Yeah, yet again, Se7en just dictating like the space on this mid-fight really, really well. Keep them constantly locked in that choke area, and Zunis was behind with a big wraparound, but it just took way too long to actually make much of a difference in the end. Like you said, Sans surviving is a good silver lining here for the last hold, but Stark has different ideas. Beefs the jump on, Cadis gets sniped at the same time. I think really going wacky for Se7en right now.
Just two goofs there in a second. It's going to cause Se7en to back off here. This demo man is really nice for just sealing off the door, but now people can just walk out of it and bomb if they so want to. There we go. Soldier's going to open the door, going to see if they can find an angle there for Nevo to snipe down the medic, but Raymond, he's hiding inside of the point. Inside the point is a pretty good place to hide for snipers, but if you get jumped by a soldier, you don't want to be in there. Like, you're just going to get bounced around close to a wall and then get forced 100% of the time. But Se7en did a good job of denying any sort of actually making it out.
Yeah, and they're just inching their way forward right back into lobby, trying to do something similar like last time. See if they can catch somebody by surprise, get some entry in to get the force. Full defense lineup up right now, so it's gonna be hard to find that, but they've done it before. Sniper up left, sentry on the right side with the medic. Lot up on the defense here that Se7en has to deal with before they can make any sort of entry.
As-Soon is on a banner right now, so he's just doing his best to spam everything. I don't think Se7en realizes, if Captain realized, I don't think he would be taking this spam duel with him, because as soon as he's just farming damage, and there we go, actually see a scout coming in super aggressively, gonna try to see if they can actually pick him off. They will not manage to get him, but they do get the sentry gun in there. Actually, it's so deep, and they're not really being contested, and Tiger, okay, finally does go down. Captain's gonna try to jump in, but he will bump his head, and okay, only barely make it out alive.
It's so impressive though how much stuff Se7en is doing to last. Like Cadis spams at the same time from the right side. Tiger just walks in, like takes all the attention to himself, so the gun can get spammed for free, and just a little bit more of that, and somebody would have gotten a jump in on the Sand at the same time. They were just a bit away from that, I would imagine. It's so scary though. You have to take care of so many things at the same time on defense. It's so easy to just miss one of those, and suddenly like half your team is just dead.
Korbek's on Spy. Looks like he is actually outside of spawn, so he's not just checking things. He's going to make his way outside. And Tiger's actually in there as well. I don't know if Tiger saw him. I don't know if Korbek was completely cloaked. It's very difficult to tell. And he was actually going to go down there. He was trying to snipe, and he is not quite on it. Tiger is literally just standing on the point right now as a Spy. And yeah, where do we have Korbek at this point, though?
All the way behind him, just walking in, deciding to just get the easy kill that is Cadis, while Amarok just keeps him locked in and plays. And Amarok hits a pipe on Flash too. That's 2 down already. Spawns come in now. That means they have full numbers, but the Tiger Spy on the back or backstab threat, depending on what he wants to do,
oh no,
is still there.
Everyone's pushing! Tiger, could this be the second backcap of his game? Sorta comes in just in time as soon as saves the day. There we go. However, Ubers have been forced now on the point. Se7en, they like this. They want the respawners to come in. I think there was a banner pop from as and he's going to come in here. He's going to pop people into there. He's onto the medic. He gets the medic. Nice job from him. He even gets the demo man as well, so he just speeds in there and gets a lot of work done. Stark's on the point here. He's trying to block it as much as possible. The more time he buys, the better. But eventually, he's just going to actually have to get out of there. And I think this will end up being a second cap, but man, as came in there and saved the day twice.
Yeah, and Amarok hit like a huge pipe against the Scout going in on this medic too, so just like big DM plays coming with eventually saving that. They dropped both Scouts in the UR exchange. It was such a bad situation. Saving that is so hard, and they somehow managed to pull through. Conch saved the day there. Might have even, I didn't look at exactly as soon as Se7en might have made all the difference, if not just the speed alone helped to just cover the distance just fast enough before Se7en could leave second. So Conch coming in clutch, and they get an Uber advantage out of this 2 into mid, but Flash is sniping, having different ideas.
Yeah, there's going to be an Uber just popped in immediately here. Flash is not going to be able to do anything about that. Actually, a really aggressive jump in there from Korvac might have been a little bit too much, but eventually he is going to go down. And yeah, Tiger's going to take down Azumis as well.
Korvac went deep though, and he got Raven for it. Just diving into choke. Se7en wanted to already move forward again, I think. Just waiting for the opportunity in choke, and Korvac just meets them before they can even come in.
Se7en, they're going to try and see if they can actually get middle for free here. They move forward really far. We see the last moving extremely far forward as a sniper. It's very rare to see a sniper just taking point like that. But it looks like Avant and Guingamp, they're really happy to just play it slow. Just take it easy, just get this Uber up, get all their players, get all the heals. Se7en, they still don't have any heals. Okay, finally, they've got some heals coming into middle here. So maybe Guingamp, they played a little bit too slow, but they don't want to take any chances here. So Soldier's going to be the first one to jump in. And so far, none of them have really made any good headway. There we go. Finally, they get everyone out of choke. Cadis is still there trying to spam his way out, but no, Se7en, they have just retreated. And Guingamp, they can actually just continue in here. They are just going to Uber in here. Raymond, he is just out. He went lower. A lot of people went down. There was a headshot that rang out here, but there we go. That's going to be the second one.
Azumis is coming in from behind, dealing so much damage. Amrock on the other side contests him still as well. Cadis just needs to do damage reduction here. But it's too little too late. Sans is out. Flash gets the cleanup eventually. And so many people died here, but they stayed alive for now. Raymond still doesn't have a kill target yet.
That's so scary. Eventually gets taken down. Alright. So Avant, they actually get it. The only bad thing here is that they are at an uber disadvantage. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Se7en are extremely good at just playing all these small advantages, right? And they have become a lot more aggressive after they got like Tiger and Stark onto combat classes. So I'm curious to see if they will actually push on this. It's a very difficult push to pull on.
It's only 30% by now. There was a short moment where neither of these two medics didn't heal, but neither of those two saw if the other one was doing it or not, and I think Raymond is skeptical about the Uber advantage and just plays it safe instead, which is fairly understandable if you are unsure about the Uber situation. Doesn't want to take the risk, and by the time they would have been ready, it probably would have been a bad choice to do here. And it is important to keep in mind, it is only 1-0 now, which is a much different story than we had on Snakewater, so this is still fairly sketchy territory for Se7en now.
Yeah, they ended up just not going for that. Looks like they were trying to put up a center gun as well. Tiger, he's building away to his heart content. And oh, that was actually just the teleporter going down. All right, okay, we have a sorted bombing in there. Korvac's eventually going to go down. They do take down that crucial teleporter, which means nothing. And now it's going to be Se7en pushing forward to see if they can make any kind of play coming out there. Stark actually finds a nice angle. He is in really deep, but gets eventually airport, but he gets the force anyway. Great job by him, just finds a slight opening. And that's going to be enough to just force it out. And there we go. Great play from him.
Yeah, everybody was just so bunched up trying to rotate at the very same time that Stark just basically hit everybody at the same time. Force is somewhat reasonable response there for sure. And Se7en now on the offensive yet again with the super advantage 60% after trying to make their way in from lower, not trying to get sniped or anything, try to beat them as late as possible, but Korvac beats them immediately, will get the force right away, uses his life forward Frenchies on the other side, mostly just leaving apart from that, will just keep this uber advantage alive that they have now.
Trading a roamer and a point for an uber advantage, that seems pretty good to me. So now of course we have the stutter step situation where Sans, he's about to get the uber advantage, and Raymond's, he's going to be pretty far ahead. We can see Raymond's holding super far back, so they are expecting Avant to just come barreling in here with their own uber, and it looks like it's going to be through flowers here that our French team are going to move in. And they have been spotted. Oh my god, Nevo just gets spammed down immediately. The Uber does come in here, but everyone else from Se7en have made it out except for the last. Everyone is not quite out of the woods just yet, but looks like they are eventually. And the stutter stepping continues. Now it's going to be Raymond that has the Uber advantage. Raymond is kind of weak right now, so he can't move too far forward. One direct rocket or a pipe will just drop him, and he does not want that. But it looks like we actually have Nevo on Spy, so they are expecting them to come out here, and maybe he can sneak his way in and do a back cap.
Ooh, the soldiers are in already. Korvac gets denied early though. Zune is still in lower, and Sans goes down to Stark, just going deep. Gets so much damage. Amarok will maybe stay alive. The rocket just about hits him. Backup is getting started as soon as the Nevo in the backline. Spy is deployed, but Cap is already there, and it's just
But Nevo
too
actually
late.
gets him.
Yeah, he just about pistols him down, but they blocked the point while that was happening, like in that fight on the point, and it just was not quite enough.
Quite enough. Nevo's still around. He just out-DM'd the soldier and player of the season. And looks like Stark's not going to have anything. Stark actually goes really weak as well. He was one pistol shot away from dying. So the spy was a terror, but eventually he does go down. And now Se7en's going to come in here and push. Full advantage, lots of player advantage. They're going to get onto the second point. No chance of that not getting to them. And they could even go in onto left as well.
Yeah, it is a decent opportunity. The spawns are in, so it's not a player ad situation only either, but that's sometimes just enough. Gun gets spammed early, doesn't quite go down. The Pyro is trying his hardest to protect that callback on the Pyro class yet again. Nevo sniping as well, and in the midst of just trying to desperately spam a gun, the sniper staring you down is really scary, so they eventually just let it go, and it wasted enough time to just about bring out an even Uber situation.
Yeah, Se7en, they're really taking their time here. Guess they're not feeling the squeeze just yet. Losing Tiger there is definitely going to cause them to not push in with a man disadvantage. So yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. Nevo going out super aggressively. Tries to see if he can get a peek, but not going to find it just yet. Korvac's actually going out here on Pyro. I don't know if he was just hoping to get everyone. Actually, he sort of comes in from behind as soon as just taking advantage of that Pyro distraction, just get in here, but they're not quite able to find the medic, which I'm sure he really wanted. But as long as you trade, you're kind of fine. This will, however, give Captain a chance to maybe go for a banner or something, but we'll see what he decides to do.
Yeah, for now it is just continuing on in this stalemate. Flash on Sniper as well as Nevo. Nevo off class here. Actually, they rotate the off classes around a bit more while the gun is up. They also check the off classes here, so as soon as it should be well aware if Flash doesn't tell him again this time that he's playing Sniper.
Korvac's actually going to go down, and Thalas gets the Demo Man immediately as well. This should definitely be enough for Se7en to make a push on the Demo Man going down there, not being able to get anything. And oh my god, Sans has to pop there. He popped like half a second before he got hit by a rocket. Eventually, Sodas does going to get this out, but it's going to be a sentry gun against a full Uber team. Spoiler alert, the Uber team's going to win, and there we go. Se7en's going to take it 2-0. Second.
Yeah, again, just so much pressure at the same time. Two people just get eviscerated at the same time. And that's just Se7en's goal sign. They saw Sans in the corner, dealt a lot of damage, forced him shortly after, and it was really over from there. Zudis forced the Uber, but he effectively just made them use like a second earlier than they wanted to anyway.
Yeah, it's not really a big deal. Asuna is going to be very quick here on Takadis, not quite going to hit the rocket, but he will force him back a little bit at the very least. And Amarok actually is getting some really nice spam in the choke. Going to have both Se7en soldiers in the skybox now coming in here. Gets one nice rocket. Here comes the follow-up. Can Stark get him? Yes, he can. And now Stark's just hiding behind lines. Eventually does get taken up before he can get the med kit. And Se7en, they just absorbing everyone else coming in. Tiger's on like 7 HP. Demo comes in as well. He will get taken down. Nevo's the last one alive. Can he get anything done? Looks like the answer is no. And Se7en will take the third mid of the map.
And that was, I think, like having a huge airshot as well onto Azunas on the flank. All the Frenchies want to do here on these mids is send these soldiers on like big fancy flanks, but Se7en in the meantime just sends their soldiers forward, get a lot of space, get a lot of damage, and just take effectively 4v6 fights for the time being until the soldiers wrap back around.
Yes, Se7en, they are already in. They have just Ubered in the last, forced people into spawn. I mean, you kind of see everyone just desperately trying to make it out of there, but it's just a glowy scout there in the way. But actually, Se7en, they messed up a little bit. They didn't put time onto the point, and they didn't get many kills, so they forced everyone into spawn, but then they just didn't get anything else out of it. Captain actually gets 2 nice kills here at the very end, so now he's just going to take a 1v1 against that fully Ubered demo, or fully healed demo. Maybe he's going to try to see if he can get sense, but no, one nice pipe there from Emmerich will clean him up. But yeah, Se7en definitely beefing that push, so it's nice to see that they're human after all. They can mess up too.
Yeah, well, it's still a last four situation here. They do have advantage, but the soldier just moves past Tiger waiting, and he already got 2 backtabs. Can't let him get another one.
Oh, he's in perfect position. No one's on last. Still, oh, Soda. Okay, there we go. Soda actually finds it, but he actually loses the 1v1, but he has called it out, right? So Tiger, he's just going to go in there and eventually going to get out. And he's going to get 1v1 by a scout and it's taken down there by Naval. So good job by the soldier there of Azuna's actually coming back and spotting it. But he didn't expect it for sure. You kind of see he kind of dawdled a little bit. But now the counter push comes out here from everyone else. Now they feel secure that no one else has gone behind lines. and they would be right, and they will be able to take second, and they will give up the uber advantage for it, but overall pretty good push here.
Yeah, and Tiger's play on the last point actually saved a lot of the situation for them as well, with just wasting time getting the Ubers closer for this exchange to happen now instead of an advantage push. The Frenchie is, however, happy with the Stark still down. Everybody gets a lot of space in. Se7en still not quite out of this yet. Raymond has to rotate all the way back from choke into Cavi, takes so much damage for the soldier. And as soon as Neville both try to contest and get a lot of damage, both go down without Raymond dying in the midst of that. And the Frenchies just wanted the kill so badly and still didn't get it in the end. They just enter back in, Callback gets flash, but that's just a consolation prize. The Stark goes deep, finds
what a surf from Sans! He is out of there! Just surfed all the way up onto the high ground. He might not make it out, or no, Captain's gonna finish it off. That was a great surf by Sans, but it's not gonna be enough. And you nailed that completely. Just Raymond was caught into middle, and everyone else just like laser focused onto him, but there was just this giant bodyguard crew of just 2 soldiers and everything else just being ready to go in here. And Se7en, they're actually going to go in until last year. They only have man and heal advantage, and it looks like they're going to take one look at it and go, nah, we don't like this at all. And the quarterback, he's even building a sentry gun there. Kind of interesting that they choose a soldier to go engineer. Maybe he just spawned first.
Quite a bit. He also went pyro like 2-3 times already this game, like on both maps, so interesting choice here. They apparently are not too focused about having both soldiers on last. He just let Azumis be the one to make the plays if it comes to it. Gun is level 2, Uber's up and going. Sentry gun does not quite surprise him. Uber gets just popped right into it heavy as well. In the way of this Uber charge will get completely deleted. As soon as goes down 2, that's 2 down already. Gets Starkey as a little bit of a bonus prize here, but is that enough? Time on point has been established. Soldier comes in with Scout on the flank. Everybody holding the right side just gets completely deleted. While Cadis is just happily putting 6 on the point.
Just another really nice Uber in there. Take down the center guard immediately, and then they just won the fights on both sides at the point, and then they just crunched in and just sandwiched everyone else. It's a really impressive push there from Se7en. That's going to make it 3-0. The Se7en, they're cruising forward, and it definitely looks like Se7en, they are more dominant on this map so far than they were in Snakewater, I'd say. But let's see, the middles haven't been a completely one-sided affair. Captain's going to jump in very aggressively, so he's behind lines now in Flowers. That will mean that he's not in the fight for a while. And actually, Se7en, they've been completely pushed out. Yeah, it's just going to be Captain behind lines, but he has been called for sure. But looks like Avant, they don't really care. They're just pushing all the way into second, and they are actually getting for last and getting some kills. They do still need to cap mid, though, so it's going to be Neo, and he's going to be waiting there to see if he can find Captain. There we go, Captain, he's going to be blocking it. I think Neo's just waiting for some backup, and the second scout will come back in here. Now it's going to be a 2-on-1, and Captain, surely he's not going to win that. No, not quite. But as soon as does also go down in the front, the Se7en have now come in from the other side, and eventually Avant, they're just going to have to back out to choke here. And hopefully they will not lose middle because of this.
Se7en wants to make them get the decisions going fairly aggressive. Everybody's just forward on any of these 3 entrances into mid. Tiger, Flash, everybody just jumping forward. Flash takes it all the way, indeed gets Amarok for his troubles. And that is a huge pick to have here coming in. Tiger might overextend a little bit. Flash already went down. Nevo just chases him down, makes him regret his decision. Soldier flank. Nightway zooms as well will get cleaned up. Everybody's just fighting all over the place. And Nevo is the one that finds the big play. While all of this is happening, Se7en just a bit too deep on all fronts that Nevo just slips through in the end. And their big crusher playstyle eventually fires back just a bit.
They're not done pressuring just yet. Tiger's still behind lines. The soldier jumped in. Captain, he will eventually get warded off. But someone doesn't die. It's pretty incredible how they can jump in like this and not die. And just Tiger behind lines. Is there anything more annoying to deal with? I don't know how many teams have just lost because Tiger just gets in behind lines and just takes 1v1s and just flexes on everybody. It's so annoying to deal with. Avant, they have pushed everyone else out of second, and they just need to get some time on it, make sure. But there we go. Tiger comes in with a backup. Captain's going to go in here, try and see if he can block the second cap. It looks like that's not going to be quite the case. So Tiger, he has been kind of exposed now, and they know where he is exactly. And they do have an uber advantage, but they might just be a little bit weak now. And Amarok's going to be spawning, and there's a scout behind the line. Never mind, Nebo will actually find him. So eventually they do deal with him, and that means that, of course, the demo man can't get spawn camped either.
Which is good. They do have still the kill onto Tiger here. They want to make some use out of this. Azumis tries to lead this in. Stark goes deep, weak to it, but doesn't go down. That's not what they were looking for. So Sack has been denied, unfortunately enough. And
Stark's going to see if he can make his way up. He actually does get all the way up, and there we go. Gets a nice first rocket onto make. What a surf from Sans! Oh, he actually popped it. He thought he was going to die from fall damage. I think he could have survived. So that's really unfortunate. Stark does get the Uber Force once again.
Kate is so far forward though, he immediately just walks into players, like meeting him in lobby. 2 down is scary for potential counterforce pretty quickly. Se7en just moves forward in response to that, wants to just beat them head on instead of getting forced all the way back, getting 2 immediately with that, while the gun is just being spammed as a precautious measure to try to get the force in first place, and it might just backfire quite a bit. He's 3 down on the Frenchies. Flash wants some more, gets Neo 4 in the end. Combo gets out, Amarok can stay alive for now, but it is such a good Uber in the end still.
Indeed, they get it out here. Se7en, they're going to have to make it into mid pretty quickly here, because otherwise they're going to be facing an Uber disadvantage. And Captain actually going to get taken down. They're really aggressive play. And Se7en, they might have overextended there. They wanted to come in before Ubers came into effect, but as a result, they just kind of lost the DM fight here. So now they're in a really bad position, because not only are they down players, they're also down an Uber. That's going to be very difficult for him to deal with. Korvac is like on 2 HP waiting for an error, but he's not going to get one. That's kind of sad. Just see Santos running past it. He's just going to Uber in immediately. Raymond's hiding in spawn right now, so they're going to need some time onto the point if they want to encourage people forward. It looks like they are going to get a scout forward here, but they'll also just come in and just bomb it really aggressively. Actually, onto the medic there, Raymond will eventually get it. He has been forced, so if Santos can just get out of here alive, they're actually in a pretty good position, but the chase is real. Korvac going to go down as well. And there we go. Santa's made it out, but that's the only good thing going in there. And Tiger, he's doing the sneaky pyro flanking.
They again used so early and they just didn't know where people were in this Uber and the pyro all the way from Lars, just going in deep, getting a decent amount of damage, but it's just not quite enough for any kills to actually have been gotten here. And it's really unfortunate to see that these problems just carry over into the next map as well. They're getting so close, but then the Uber's just a bit short in terms of actually reaching people, dealing the damage, doing the invincibility, and now it's a matter of having to do this all over again into second, and they're getting denied really hard on entry they don't have yet, despite the advantage.
Yeah, there was a really aggressive push in there. All the soldiers just getting popped into the skybox, but no one quite being able to hit there. Korvac's actually going to jump in very aggressively, not going to quite find it. I think, yeah, eventually he's going to get taken down. That was actually as soon as going in as well. But here comes the Uber. Raymond doesn't have his yet, but he is just out of there. There's still some players behind line. Starks, he's weak. He's running around with the skill stick. And there's even a scout on the back cab as well, but eventually they're just going to take like a 1v5, and there we go. Tiger gets cleaned up, but now Se7en comes in through this choker. They're going to Uber in. Korvac has jumped behind line as well, and Santos made it out through flowers as well. So actually a pretty good situation here for Avant. They're not doing too bad right now, even though Se7en's putting on a ton of pressure. Korvac's going to try to jump the medic there, but Raymond, he will be able to survive that encounter. And Se7en, they have a lot of players right now on the French team.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Se7en to just scatter immediately. He came in, Cadus gets the pipe, sands down. Azudis will follow him in his grave too, on top of that. And this is just a 3-second point. Just as I was praising them, they just doubled it up even more. And there's just so little you can do here. You can't afford to risk more lives. You already lost a soldier. You are down a medic. If you go in for the medic now, you might just have nobody for last anymore.
Yeah, at this point, I think you just have to take an Uber fight. Like I think cookie cutter lineup is actually superior thing you can do right now. I think like having a sniper is fine, because then he can snipe the medic. That would make sense. But I think you just want to have like double soldiers spam everything out, and then have 2 scouts that can't be hit, and then you can maybe win a DM fight even though they're invincible for a bunch of time. Looks like they are actually running with a pyro right now. The Uber comes in from the right side. They found the demo man, but actually it takes a while for Amarok to go down. There we go. Tabas just going to stand on the point. That's going to cause everyone to just dive onto it. There we go. And this is what we want to see. Everyone else just exploding as they desperately dive onto the point. This is what the Frenchies have been unable to do, but Se7en, they're just so good at it.
We did our research before this game, and the Frenchies team name is based off the football team that lost 9-0, and if you combine the scoreline between these 2 games yet so far, it is exactly 9-0, so they have 3 minutes of damage reduction to not do any worse than that.
Oh boy, yeah. It's been a little bit of a slower map, that's for sure. Like it's a map where you can definitely stall things out, but Captain's gonna be in this skybox here. No, that's actually Stark up in the bell tower. Oh my god, nice pipe from Amarok. Gonna take down Captain before he can even make it in there. So both 7 soldiers have been taken down. A lot of 7 position right now. You can see Cadus just running forward, but actually he's so weak. He does get taken down, but now it's cleaned up mode. It's gonna be a scout and a demo against 2 scouts, and that's usually favors the 2 scout. But a nice pipe coming out here actually takes him down. Navo gonna take down Tiger. So now it's gonna be a demo and a scout and a medic against a scout and a medic, and that will always favor the Scout and the Demo Man. And looks like, oh my god, these pipes from Amarok, he is just doing so much damage right now. But it might cause neighbors to just overextend a little bit. I think they just need to back up, and that's gonna do. But Captain's hitting the bell tower, doing so much damage, getting a ton of precision in, but he takes some damage as well.
That was actually really smart by Captain. You can just come on the other side and Stark in as well. Uber exchange has been gotten. Sands goes weak immediately. Kalis and Co have a slightly better Uber here. As soon as wants to get on the flank as well. Well, Tiger just denies him, and this is a big mess of a fight. But the slightly better Uber Raymond makes so much difference. Corbeck has different ideas, wants to get the kill, but it's just not enough. Everybody on Frenchies wants to enter in and get some cleanup, but it's just too little space.
Oh, the Amarok pipes, Jesus, man. He has done like 900 damages with these pipes this minute. It's kinda crazy. Gonna do another one! Holy hell. Amarok pipes are a thing. And they're actually going to win this, even though they were kind of threw it away a little bit. He just ran into an entire enemy. Oh my god, another air pipe! Amarok is just going absolutely ballistic right now, just hitting everything. Oh my god.
And they are clearly in just what is there to lose mode, and they just put it all out there to like get one final round on the board to make themselves feel better about this. But it's despite all of this, this all was basically just a mid fight, and this was so much work for just a single capture here in the end, and the medics and all of this just stayed alive during all of that.
Corbeck's going to go in here, he's going to get this completely minced into the skybox, they're both scouts, and he will not be able to find anything. So about a minute remaining, so you definitely have time for both teams here to cap it out loud. Captain's going to try and go in behind lines, but he gets taken down, so actually 2 nice kills there from Neo, just taking people down, and now it's going to be an Uber exchange, and that definitely favors the French team here. Raymond's completely caught out, he's going to get taken down. Falas is also in behind lines, he's going to go down, he will trade as soon as first. Stark, you can see he's going into middle now for some reason. I don't think they should even bother chasing him. Like, what's he gonna do there? Actually, he goes down as well. And this looks like it could be a little bit of hey, I actually said 4-1, didn't I? I'm a genius. Come on.
Well, not yet. Corbeck is down already. Point is being played, but Se7en just about gets the spawners. Everybody dives on the point, but they need to find the damage first, and it's not quite happening. The Captain trades with Never as the point is being pressured so hard, and Amarok has all the damage ready this time.
Dude, Amarok
eventually works out.
Yeah, that was crazy. That last round from Amarok was just actually insane. I kind of want to see... I wish we had those old stats where you could see a damage per round. Kind of. Actually, you can still do that on logs. I'm going to go look at that for sure.
That's going to be a long clip in one of your frag movies, isn't it?
Yeah, that should be just a TFTV clip, shouldn't it?
Definitely. That was some impressive stuff there by everybody. To be honest, that fight was just like endless, basically, on a mid fight, and everybody had like some insane moments about Amarok, obviously, the standout for the last few seconds here. In the end, 4-1 is the final scoreline. Not quite 9-0 in total, so hey, they're better than the team they named after already.
Yeah, so the round was 3 minutes and 10 seconds long, and he did 2,264 damage. That's a lot of DPM. That's like Jesus, man. That's like 800 DPM or something crazy. That's a good round right there. It was a fun mid-fight, and they do raise themselves up a little bit, and he makes me look like a genius for saying 4-1. So all things considered, that makes me really happy. Even though Se7en actually looked better on Sunshine, in many ways, you know.
Yeah. They had like so much map control. The mid fights were so much better aside from. I mean, technically the last two, but like the last one was clearly just like a big old YM server. So like the fourth mid fight, fifth mid fight, yeah. Like the second to last one was like the only one where the Frenchies really seemed in control. They changed it up majorly. I was criticizing beforehand that the big flank around plays by the French soldiers didn't find too much success. Se7en just pressed the issue over the point quicker than those flanks could come in the first place, and they changed it up for that second last one, and it worked much better, just much more aggressive playstyle all around. It got them a decent mid-win. So there was adaptation by the Frenchies, but for Se7en, they just had a better game plan like all around for the most part. We had like one really long round at the beginning, but after that, it just was go mode for Se7en, basically.
Yeah, indeed. Let's look at these logs just a little bit. We can see Amarok not just doing well in that last round, he actually did well overall. He went 20 for 13 and top damage in the server, 326 DPM. So he had a very good game, that's for sure. Corbeck struggled quite a bit more. He went 9 for 25. That's rough. I think he was the pocket. Yeah, he was, but not by a whole lot. So you can definitely see the big difference there with Captain going 21 for 13 and doing a lot of damage there as well. And of course, just the 7 scouts are just really scary.
Yeah, like both of them just get so much chaos when they got in anywhere. Flash, obviously mostly from the front line as the pocket scout, just like looked for openings where he could just get in first W into people that just weren't ready for it in a lot of situations, especially like from mid to second or the other way around. And Tiger just with his like flank plays being behind and just causing so much trouble for them. And all of that just really well timed. It's easy to just say that, like of course that the scout is just like the easy class, but you need to like be aware of what's around you at all times to make all of that happen, and that sort of game sense makes all the difference between a good scout and an insane scout like these two.
Yep, absolutely. And actually, just overall, the damage and everything is much more even on this map, which kind of surprised me. Right, like it's 35,000 to 38,000 damage in favor of 7, and the kills aren't that lopsided either. So according to the logs, the first map was a lot more lopsided than the second one, even though it felt the opposite to me. And it was only at the very end that Avant really stepped up. But like, what was your overall impression of Avant? How do you think their season's going to go just based off of this?
And based off this, they could make the upsets into like the top 4 for sure. There's obviously stuff that needs to be worked on. That's not surprising necessarily. Like we criticize some stuff like last pushes, for example, and I had some clear issues with just like the wrong priorities at the wrong times. Just need some better like focus calls on what needs to happen when. But a lot of things have gone really well. Like one thing I really liked was the one case on Snakewater, for example, where they were able to hold onto mid on disadvantage by just having the sniper put on pressure and then denying any sort of entry on the safe sidelines for the flank to make any plays. Like stuff like that is really impressive, nice to see. And if they can work out more stuff like that, then they could come a long way. And a matchup like this on week 1 for any other team than 7 is hard against 7, especially so. Like it's a hard task right away, and they didn't do too bad, all things considered, for that. 7, on the other hand, had not too many signs of weakness, I would say, and that's a scary prospect at week 1.
Yep, absolutely. I don't think anyone else is gonna want to play against this team. They're gonna be kind of scared. Who are they actually playing next week? It looks like that's gonna be
the notice as well. Like Snake and Sunshine are a little bit of the weaker maps, and this is a strong result. So anyone that plays them next week and last week, week 7.
They're playing against the Theorists, so they're playing another champion, but this time around it's going to be the Div 1 champion. So hopefully that can go better for them. But they're playing a champion, and it's going to be on product, and they have 2 snipers, right? And I think Korvac has played some scout before, right? So they will switch him onto it, perhaps, maybe.
Maybe it's going to be interesting how they're going to actually approach that in the end, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any interviewees come in. I've been looking at the channel, and I have not seen anything. The only one in there are people from the other game, which if you didn't watch that game, you should probably check that one out. It's like the 2 most hyped team, in my opinion. Like the 2 most fun teams, I think, to watch that just played each other, Faint and Swift. They just have like all the frag heroes in the world. So definitely, you should probably just go back and check that. It just ended. But I just want to point it out that that's probably going to be an even better game than this one that we just watched. So definitely do that. But yeah, I don't think we have any interviews, so I think we should just about wrap it up here.
Sure. Let's just, just quick shout out. I mean, you mentioned Feint technically just now, but shout outs in general to Feint for providing a little bit of the prize pool this season, I guess. Didn't sponsor like all of it, but they like increased by a decent amount, so that's always nice to see.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. That's really nice. That's a lot of confidence, right? They was like, well, we're gonna win it anyway, so might as well donate some money. That's confidence.
I would say it's even confidence. It's just like if our team wants to get like paid this season, they better have to do good then. Yeah. I like that way of thinking. But do we know when the next game is scheduled for? Like, are there any games tomorrow? Let me check really fast. I see that there's one game scheduled for the 5th, so that's quite a bit away, and one for the 30th. So in today's first day is the next one. That's the other franchise, Volk River against the Theorist. And next week we'll have Se7en versus Yak's team. A little bit of the late week 1 game there.
All right, so it looks like you guys are going to get probably a days of rest here, but then we will be back with even more great TF2. ETF2L season 32 looks like it's going to be a great season. It's the season leading up to the Copenhagen Games LAN, and all the seasons leading up to LANs tend to be absolutely amazing because people are all just training really hard to make sure that they can perform well once they actually show up in person. You know, you want to be good when you show up for that. Sorry, what? Wiethoofd? Yeah, Se7en won the first place last season, which means that they get free tickets for it. So Se7en will be there. So the best team in the world will be there. And maybe Flurry will show up as well. Who knows? You never know. But, yeah, this season's going to be about all the other people. Like, who's going to show up there to challenge Se7en. That's going to be a lot of fun to see. But with that, I think we're going to head out of here. Thank you guys all for watching. Do you have any last wise words before we leave, Dom?
Not really, just shout outs to the people watching. It was a lot of trouble setting things up, and it's always fun if it actually is worth in the end, and these games are a lot of fun, so yeah.
Alright, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. It was Wiethoofd on production. Big shout out to him as always. And then I was Peter, joined by Dom. This was TF2V2. Go check out the TF2V1 game. I'm sure that was even greater. We have War and Eames casting that, so that should be absolute fire. And we will see you guys when we see you. Good night.